Number 6 Oregon beating number 3 Penn State 30-24 in double overtime. Let's go over the highest graded players, starting off with the Oregon Ducks. Highest graded player for Oregon, Bear Alexander, with an 86.4 grade in the win. Dylan Thieneman, our guy, with a 78.9 PFF grade, including the game-sealing interception in double overtime. Tatum Tuioti, the edge rusher, 75.6. Amari Washington, the D-tackle, 75. Emmanuel Pregnon, the guard, 71.4. And Dante Moore with a really impressive 77.1 grade in the victory. Let's go to Penn State with their highest graded players in the loss. Denai Dennis Sutton, 79.4. Zion Tracy, 78.6, the corner. Katron Allen, the running back, 78. Zakee Wheatley, the safety, 74.3. Zariah Fisher, the edge rusher, 73.4. And Drew Aller with a 73.8 grade in the loss. Dalton, for you, what told the story in this game?
Boy, I mean, I know you hate to say it, but you'd probably say it too. It's same old Penn State. I mean, it's just the passing game holds them back. And to me, despite the result of the game going to double overtime and it was a 50-50 ball game at the very end of it, to me, it's about the process with this Penn State offense. And the first 3 quarters of it, it just was not good enough. This is how you fall behind 17-3. You mentioned it in the preview show. The warning signs were there that even against teams like Nevada and FIU and Villanova, the offense just did not look good enough, especially in the passing game. Drew Aller and the receivers continue to be the biggest question. But the entire offense, really, first 3 quarters of this game, 57.4 PFF offense grade, 3 yards per play for 3 entire quarters of a football game. I don't care who you're playing. I don't care if it's Oregon, Alabama, Georgia, the 85 Bears. I don't care. You can't go 3 quarters of a football game with 3 yards per play. 2 explosive plays in the entire first 3 quarters. Neither of them over. Their longest play in the first 3 quarters was 16 yards.
Yep.
And their wide receivers, which has been the pain point for multiple years now, in those first 3 quarters, 3 catches for 10 yards. This Penn State passing game, and because to me, once we got by the result and the shock of it and the Thieneman interception and all that, what I immediately started thinking to myself was, can this offense win a national championship? Honestly, as they are right now, the passing game especially through the first 3 quarters of this game and what we've seen the first 3 games against bad teams, no, they can't. And not only, I have right now with Aller and the receivers, and Aller, obviously the grade comes out okay. He made the big touchdown throw, and then for the most part, the last couple drives kind of stayed out of the way, which also is a discussion, and this is something you brought up to me last night. The best moments of their offense are just when they stay away from Aller in the passing game.
Yep.
Right? They run the football, and Andy Kotelnicki gets a little bit creative, the screen game, all of that. But
which just makes that second overtime call so maddening.
Right.
It's
like,
not.
There's no
why
time,
would you do that?
There's no time constraint.
Yeah.
You're running the ball well. Your offensive line's playing well. The screen game, things like that are working. Oregon was starting to gas out in that first overtime especially, and he goes with that to try to take the shot just like Oregon did. I right now with this passing game, what we've seen through 4 games, they got a couple more weeks against UCLA and Northwestern to try to put it back together, and then they get Iowa after that, which is obviously a tough test defensively. Right now, I have no faith that this passing game could go into Ohio State and win.
I don't either. Yeah.
Then the question becomes, because now you start talking about playoff scenarios. Right after a trip to Columbus, they go home and play Indiana, who's got a spectacular defense. I sit here and come out of this game, especially watching the first 3 quarters of it, going, can they even score in Indiana? And are we looking at a scenario where Penn State's offense could get them a 9-3 record instead of 10-2, and at 9-3 with no out of conference basically, and no big wins? If that were to happen, they'd be out of the playoffs.
Yep.
Is that how bad their passing game is? Because for 3 quarters in this game, that's what it looked like.
That's my stat, too, is Penn State 61.1 grade on passing plays. And credit to Oregon, too. Their defense played an outstanding game yesterday. Tosh Lepore, the defensive coordinator, obviously Dan Lanning, too, did a great job coaching up that side of the ball, and they were lights out last night for Oregon. But it feels like it's rinse and repeat for Penn State in every single big game they play in. They have the team that keeps them in these big games. They have the defense, they have the run game, but the problem is they do not have the pass game to win these big games right now. Negative 0.060 EPA per pass, only a 59.7 team receiving grade. The 3 receivers they brought in, and I do think they slightly upgraded at wide receiver, going into this year from last year. However, the 3 receivers they brought in do not make up for Tyler Warren. Tyler Warren was an absolute superstar for that offense last year, and now you see him with the Colts now. He's playing great with the Indianapolis Colts right now. These 3 receivers they brought in are better than the 3 receivers last year, yes, but they're not better enough to make up for the loss of Tyler Warren. Drew Aller, only a 65.1 passing grade. His rushing ability kind of dragged up his grade a little bit. That's why you saw the 73.8 overall grade. Only a 69% adjusted completion rate. Andy Kolnicki gave him a shot on the first play of the double overtime, and he threw the game-losing interception too. He's now 90th in the country with a 68 passing grade on the season, 94th in adjusted completion rate on the season too. And also the offensive line, 61 pass blocking grade 2, 32% pressure rate allowed. Drew Aller was under pressure a lot in that game. Actually made a couple nice throws under pressure early on in that game. But Dalton, I mentioned in the preview, Penn State's passing game was very, very worrying going into the week based off how they looked against 3 cupcakes in FIU, Nevada, and Villanova. Alarm bells should be going off in Happy Valley right now. They're 67th in EPA per pass, 96th in explosive pass rate. They cannot push the ball downfield right now. I know Drew had the one beautiful touchdown throw to Devontae Ross late in the game, but other than that, they can't get any explosive passes in their game right now. So credit to Oregon for their defense for stepping up, and it just feels like the same conversation every single year for Penn State.
Yeah,
now.
no, I mean, they have 2 weeks to figure this out. They're playing UCLA, they're playing Northwestern, they're going to win. Are they going to – you almost wonder if they're going to experiment in the passing game and just go, okay, what works? What are the foundational concepts? What are Drew's best throws? How can we get these receivers optimally open, right? They got 2 weeks to figure it out against UCLA and Northwestern. If it still looks like this in a 3-game stretch against Iowa, Ohio State, Indiana, all terrific defenses, they're in serious, serious trouble. And even later in the year, they played Nebraska. They've got an excellent pass defense too. They got 2 weeks to develop this thing. Because if they don't, they're one-dimensional. And their defense is good. I mean, Penn State's defense.
That's really good, yeah.
I think there was a moment last night where they started to gas out, especially when it got to 17-3, and it was getting hard because their offense couldn't sustain anything. I think Penn State's defense, was it their best night? Maybe not.
But still 17 points going into overtime. That's great.
Good enough to win.
Yes, absolutely.
Good enough to win. They have the defense. They have the backs. It took a while. And the problem is now, and we're going to talk about some other teams on the inverse of this, like the opposite of what we've talked about Clemson and things like that this year. The problem is now, and you can see it the first 3 quarters of this game, because they're not going to respect Penn State's passing game. Just load it up.
Yep.
Just load it up. Just don't let Allen and Singleton pop off for big explosive runs, and you're going to be just fine. And honestly, the first part of that to me, actually, I shouldn't even say load it up. First of all, my most impressive part of this game, Oregon's defensive line for probably 3.5 quarters of this game. Dominant stuff. Bear Alexander, the transfer from USC, their highest graded player. 5 stops and 2 pressures.
Yep.
Tatum Tuioti, I thought was fantastic. 5 pressures and 2 sacks. Amari Washington, really good in run defense. Mateo Uiagalelei, 5 pressures. This defensive line in Oregon, Dan Lanning just keeps finding them, man. They lost some guys over the last couple of years, some veteran guys, and they just keep rolling them in there, whether it's transfers or young kids stepping up. I mean, their front 4 for that, especially that 3 quarters that I was talking about that Penn State struggled, Oregon's defensive line controlled this game, and it really wasn't until Penn State picked up the tempo in the 4th quarter and really just leaned on their run game. Because to be honest with you, I thought coming into this game, if Penn State was going to win, they were going to have to run it right down Oregon's throat. And they just could not do it really till their last drive of regulation.
Yep. Yeah, great job of the Oregon defensive line. And I want to shout out to Dante Moore in this game as my most impressive. Listen, Drew Aller struggled a lot in this game. The newbie thrived. The veteran quarterback struggled while the newbie thrived in Dante Moore. It was his first really massive start in his career, and it came in the whiteout against the number 3 team in the country with an elite defense and an elite defensive coordinator too in Jim Knowles, and Dante Moore delivered a gutsy performance in that win over Penn State. 80.1 passing grade, 29 for 39 for 248 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks, 3 big-time throws, 1 turnover-worthy play, an 85% adjusted completion rate too. And with the game on the line, offensive coordinator Will Stein put the ball in Dante Moore's hands as a passer and as a runner, which is a stark difference from what you saw from Andy Kolnicki kind of getting the ball out of Drew Aller's hands with the game on the line late in that game too. You look at it right now, Dante Moore, I think Dalton, he is absolutely a candidate to be the number one overall pick in the draft, the number one quarterback in this upcoming draft too. And right now on DraftKings Sportsbook, our partner here at PFF, Dante Moore is your new Heisman Trophy favorite at plus 750 right now. That is plenty deserved right now. Dante Moore is balling out. And Will Stein, after having Bo Nix a couple years ago and Dylan Gabriel last year, he looks like he might have maybe his first Heisman Trophy winner at quarterback. After having 2 Heisman Trophy finalists, it could be a Heisman Trophy winner this year in Dante Moore.
You know what you learned about him in this game? He's got no pulse.
Yeah.
He's got no pulse whatsoever. That kid is cold-blooded. For him, and look, for Penn State, he was great all night, but for Penn State to come back and for him to lead the team down for the first overtime drive, all right, cool. Then for him to make the second throw in overtime, evading the pressure from Denai Dennis-Sutton, one of the best pass rushers in the country, and to make that throw for the I mean, just no pulse whatsoever. And all of a sudden you feel like with the way he's played the first 4 games, okay, they were better than those teams. With the way he played in this game, they got a bye week, as does their opponent here. 2 weeks from now, they get Indiana at home. I got to be honest, if they get by that game, they're looking like they're going to go 12-0 again. Yep. And they're going to be in the Big Ten title game again. The way Dante Moore is playing, he is unbelievable. One of the best quarterbacks in the country. Great job on Dan Lanning's part to get him to come in there last year and sit behind Dylan Gabriel and learn as a young kid. Yes, he struggled as a true freshman at UCLA, but he was a true freshman at UCLA with not a whole lot of offensive supporting cast there. That was a good defensive team, but not very good on offense. What Oregon has done with these quarterbacks, and especially, I think Dante may be the most impressive of the 3 that they've had now between Nix. Dylan Gabriel had been in college football forever. He was a veteran. Bo Nix had already had, 2 full years starting at Auburn, was it?
Yeah.
I mean,
maybe 3, actually. Yeah.
And they did change kind of his playing style as they went on. Dante Moore played like 6 games, I think it was, or 7 games as a true freshman. It did not go well under Chip Kelly there at UCLA and everything that was going on there. They sit him for a year, and this is what he comes out on the other side looking like. Just an unbelievable plan of development for Dan Lanning and those guys for their quarterback. And like you mentioned, they could very well have a 3rd straight Heisman finalist at quarterback and possibly a winner. If he goes out and he wins this Indiana game and then he's racking up numbers the second half of the season, yeah, I see why he's the favorite right now. I get it. Unbelievable stuff.
Before we move on, are you ready to declare him QB1? Yeah, just yet. As of right now. Obviously, it could change.
Well, for the draft?
I would say right now he would be my QB1.
I don't even look. People are declaring a new QB1 every week.
Well, we're going to have to. We're doing a mock draft this week, so we're going to have to make a decision here.
Well, you're going to have to give me till Friday because it is just that we get a new QB1. Week 1, it was Nussmeier. Week 2, it was Carson Beck. Week 3, it was Sellers. Last week, it was Mendoza. I mean, it's a wide open race. At the very least, Dante is squarely in it for sure.
You got to give me an answer. If you have the pick and you have to pick a quarterback, who? No,
because it's gonna be the Jets pick, and then I have to pick my favorite one, and you're gonna. How about we leave it on the table for
Friday? All right,
for Friday. Because I'll be honest with you, I have no idea. I just the draft scout for you know what is Ty Simpson in that mix? Is Trinidad Chambliss in this mix I was almost going to say Sam, but that's next year. I mean, how many different guys are in this QB1 mix now? And I know people are impatient and they can't just let the darn season play out, but Dante is absolutely in the conversation the way he's playing right now.
I would say if I had to make the pick right now, I would take him QB1. Maybe not number 1 overall, but he'd be my QB1 as of right now. I was really impressed by him yesterday. Been really impressed by him all season too. But can we move on now, please? Are we done with this game?
You're the host.
I'm done.
Whatever you want.
I'm done talking about this game. I'm done. As a lifelong Penn State.
You're not quite done. We're going to get back to it one more time. But
are we?
Sure. We got something else to talk about it.
Okay. All right.
Absolutely.